He tied 2 rocks to his palms and glided freely on a skateboard down the highway. As his speed picked up, his closed-off heart cracked open just a little. The stones in his hands became his brakes, helping him slow down and turn corners with flair. Life has endless challenges, but there's always a way to overcome them. In this moment, he broke free from the chains of everyday life and saw a world of beauty he had never noticed before. There are countless reasons to begin a journey, but only one reason to give up, and that's the suffocating pressure of reality. The protagonist, Walter, had worked at a magazine company for 16 years. Like most people, he had to carefully budget for daily expenses. He secretly admired a new coworker, but didn't dare say hello. Instead, he tried to break the ice through an online dating site. It didn't take much effort for him to find out Cheryl's hobbies. She had a 3-legged dog, which left a deep impression on him. But Walter, timid and passive in life, mustered up the courage to click the Say Hi button, only to see it fail. When he contacted customer service, he learned that his profile was incomplete. He hadn't filled out where he'd been or what he'd done. The truth was, he had never been anywhere noteworthy, nor done anything worth mentioning. But Walter did have one superpower, daydreaming. At that moment, he heard a dog barking. Walter suddenly sprang up, started running, and leapt into an apartment building, rescuing a puppy. He told everyone to evacuate, and moments later, the building exploded. Cheryl rushed over, taking the puppy and thanking him. He even crafted a prosthetic for the dog.
Little hip joint assembly with a drop ring lock and an interior pelvic band.
God, you're noteworthy.
I just live by the ABCs. Adventurous, brave, creative.
That's everything I want in a man.
But in reality, Walter had none of these qualities. Right now, he was just an ordinary man who missed the last train because he was daydreaming. Out of breath, he rushed to the office, only to hear from his coworkers that the company had been acquired and the print magazine was moving online. That day, Walter's sister came by while helping their mom move. It was also Walter's birthday, and his mother had baked him a cake. After his sister left, Walter met the new transition manager, Ted Hendricks, an arrogant jerk. One moment, Walter was explaining his work. The next, Hendricks dismissed him.
Sorry, I was really getting into this song I stopped listening to.
Asset manager.
You do?
I was saying, you know who looks good in a beard? Dumbledore, not you.
Guy? Guy?
Snapping out of a daydream, Walter stepped out of the elevator and saw Cheryl. To his surprise, she greeted him first. But in the end, it was just a fleeting moment of joy. Disappointed, Walter poured himself a cup of coffee and sneaked a glance at Cheryl's desk, slipping back into another daydream where he became a rugged mountaineer, showing up at Cheryl's side like a hero.
The ice, Jace. She moves like a woman.
His dazed expression didn't escape Hendricks, who loudly called him Major Tom, a reference to the song Space Oddity. When Walter didn't react, Hendricks flicked a paperclip at him, snapping him back to reality, just in time for Cheryl to notice. Walter's job was behind the scenes, handling discarded negatives that nobody cared about. The company's star photographer, Sean, learned about the acquisition and sent Walter a wallet printed with the magazine's logo, along with negatives for the final issue's cover. Sean specifically said that negative number 25 was his greatest work, what he called the essence of life, and it had to be the magazine's last cover. But when they developed the film, negative 25 was missing. The sales department pushed for it to be the cover, yet the key negative was nowhere to be found. That single photo would change Walter's fate.
Okay, make a contact sheet.
Hendricks held a staff meeting, announcing that employees who weren't essential would be laid off. He demanded Walter hand over the missing negative. Walter lied, saying it was still being processed. Afterward, he worked up the courage to talk to Cheryl. Since she had more contact with Sean, Walter hoped for some leads. But Sean was a mystery man with no phone and no fixed address. Cheryl agreed to ask the colleague who handled Sean's paychecks. Just then, some test prints came out. Only 3 images from the roll were usable. Perhaps these clues could help Walter track Sean down. That afternoon, Cheryl found Walter poring over the photos. One was of a thumb, another of water, and the third was a mysterious close-up of something unidentifiable. Cheryl joked with him, but Walter, awkward and self-conscious, failed to keep the mood light. The atmosphere turned a bit uncomfortable, and Cheryl excused herself, saying she needed to focus on keeping her job. Watching her leave, Walter slipped into another daydream, calling her back and unveiling a breathtaking statue.
Walter, it's amazing. Walter, I was just saying I'll let you know when I hear back from Pay.
Okay. Thank you.
Compared to Walter, Cheryl was more proactive. Meanwhile, Walter was still stressed about helping his mom move. His late father's piano couldn't fit into the new apartment, so they had to spend more money to rent a bigger place. His sister gave him a Stretch Armstrong doll, their favorite childhood toy. While packing, his sister found an old travel backpack. Inside was a travel journal their father had given Walter, but it was still blank. Back then, Walter had been a daring kid, a mohawked skateboard champion. But after his father's death, he shouldered family responsibilities, lost his spark, and drifted from one job to another. Then, a colleague discovered a new lead. Walter rushed back to find that another photo had a clue, an image of the ocean with a ship's name written across it. By chance, Cheryl saw him again and kindly offered to help identify the ship, but she needed to pick up her child, so she invited Walter along. As they spent more time together, Walter learned she had recently gone through a divorce and was now in a fragile, in-between stage of her life.